London is one of the most iconic cities in the world, but it's also one of the most expensive places to live, and not just in Europe, but globally. Rent, food, transport, housing, everything feels inflated, but why is London so expensive? Today we're going to break it down in simple terms, from history to the housing crisis, to the economics shaping life in London today. So one of the biggest reasons London is so expensive is due to simple economics. London has a supply problem. There aren't enough homes for the number of people who want to live there. London attracts international workers, students, businesses, investors, commuters, and people from across the UK looking for higher paying jobs. Demand massively outweighs supply, and because there's limited space, especially in central areas, prices climb every year. Even small flats get hundreds of offers within hours. The competition alone pushes prices higher. There's also a great deal of property that's owned by billionaires, which further limits the supply for regular working people. If we take a look at the salaries in London, they tend to be higher than the rest of the UK, and that's true, but companies know the cost of living is high and the market adjusts. More income, higher rent, higher cost of doing business, higher prices for everything else. So even though you might earn more, you don't necessarily feel richer because your expenses rise with income. And it's a cycle that's very hard to escape. If you want access to better jobs, you often have to live in one of the most expensive cities, which further compounds the problem. And as mentioned earlier about the very rich billionaires that are owning property in London, the thing is, London is seen as a very safe place to store money. For wealthy investors around the world, London property is like a long-term investment, and it's as stable as gold. This pushes up property prices, which then pushes up rents. Whole areas, especially in zones 1 and 2, become completely unaffordable for normal workers. And these buyers aren't living in London, they're just investing. But that investment still affects the entire housing market, and it just adds to the everyday living costs in London. As with higher rents, higher wages and higher operating costs, all of that just gets passed on to consumers. That's why you can get a much cheaper coffee in the north of England than you can in Shoreditch. Now, if we look at the infrastructure and London tax, transport improvements like the Elizabeth line are amazing for the city, but they're expensive, and funding has to come from somewhere. Congestion charges, higher rent, higher council tax, these things all contribute to what many people call the London tax. London has a brand, and that comes with a premium. So is London worth the price tag? Honestly, it depends on your lifestyle and income. People stay because of job opportunities, culture and diversity, events, nightlife, food, the pace and energy of the city, access to industries you can't really tap into anywhere else in the UK. But the sheer cost of living there pushes a lot of people out. So will London ever get cheaper? Short answer, probably not. So unless London drastically increases housing supply, which takes years, demand will stay high. But we might see more people working remotely and choosing cheaper cities. That could reduce pressure over time, and with the rise of remote working, that is a possibility there. Whether it will reduce the cost of living to such a degree that it would affect a lot of people or balance out with the housing crisis, unlikely, but we'll see, I guess. But London, it's an amazing city and an amazing place, but it's expensive for a mix of economics, global demand, branding and lifestyle factors. So it is a hard choice for people. But let me know in the comments if you live in London, or would you live in London, or is it just too expensive? Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.